Welcome to this training on Chaarmi Worlds VR. Let's start off by looking for a 3D model on Sketchfab for our virtual environment. Here we see a virtual gallery that is very low in polygons. Let's download this and copy the credits. Remember to remove the quotes from the attribution credits. Now let's go into Chaarmi and add the object to the Genesis plot. Next, let's scale and move this around to accommodate the floor. Let's now save the scene and go into our Oculus MetaQuest VR device. Open a new browser in your headset and then make sure that at the end of the URL, you put in index.php !plot_id equals Genesis and VR equals 1. This is really important. Go ahead and let the experience load. This could take a few moments. Once it loads, make sure to go directly to the Enter as Guest button, and when the Enter VR Mode button comes up, click on it to enter the VR experience. And here we are in beautiful VR, ready to explore the amazing plot we just built. As nice as this looks, we do need to stick within several requirements for any 3D virtual world in VR. The minimum requirements for VR are 30 frames per second with under 200,000 polygons using an Oculus MetaQuest 2 or higher VR headset with the controllers, as you do require the A and B buttons to interact with the environment. Now let's clear the scene and get a new model of a museum into the plot editor. Let's go ahead and move around and start adjusting the space to match the size of the player, and then let's test out the experience on a PC before going into VR. It should all look correct, and your avatar should be able to move around. It's always recommended to test out an experience first on the PC before testing it out on VR, just in case you need to make any changes. Now let's test it out in VR to make sure it's all working as it does match our requirements. Don't forget to use the flag, and VR equals 1, and then make sure to click the Enter VR button. Moving in VR is straightforward. Using your left joystick, you can move your avatar, and using your right joystick, you can turn. The B key allows you to point at things, and the A key allows you to jump. The grips allow you to grab objects in the world that are interactable. Let's head back to the plot editor and let's add a new box. We will use this box to place an interactable cup on it. After positioning and coloring the box to your liking, go ahead and find a cup model on Sketchfab and download it and add it to the plot. Move and resize the cup to your liking, and let's go ahead and open up the Chaarmi mini-script commands. Find the code for XR interactable object and then paste it into the code section. Set the object to Coffee 2, and then let's set the interaction type to None Do Once. Please note that for interactable objects, you will have to duplicate the GLB file and rename it to something else in order to have multiple interactable copies. Now let's save the scene and test it out in VR. Go ahead and move towards the object, and when you touch it with your right hand, your controller will vibrate. If you hit the grab buttons, you should be able to pick the object up. Letting go of the grab buttons will drop the object. You can pick it up again, switch hands, pretend to drink it, and even throw the cup. Very exciting. Let's now dive back into the backend and create a cube which we will place on a painting. Let's resize it to fit and add one of our images to it. Let's open up its properties and use the play video function and paste it in. Let's name the object painting and set the S object name to painting as well. Let's get the MP4 video link and place that in and make looping equal true and volume equal 1.0. From there, let's set it up to play a video using an on-click interaction type. Now let's save it and go ahead and test this out in our VR experience. In the VR experience, hit the B key and point at the painting, and the video should start playing. You can pause and play at any time by pointing at the painting again. Back in the plot editor, let's create a new cube and let's set up a local plot jump. Simply position the cube and then let's name it jump_start, and let's set its color value to red. Let's now find the code for local jump and then paste it in, and let's point it to an object called jump_end. Set the interaction type to trigger enter and save it. Now let's move to another location and add a cube for the jump end location. Let's edit it and call it jump_end, and then get the code to remove collider. Paste the code in and let's set it to jump_end, and then change the interaction type to None Do Once. Also, don't forget to make the object transparent in color. Let's save the scene and let's go test it out in VR. Go ahead and now walk over to the teleport jump pad, and you should instantly teleport to the other side. You can even get fancy and grab a coffee for the ride. Don't forget to take a sip of some virtual coffee. Congratulations on coming this far. You now have all you need to take advantage of Chaarmi World's VR capabilities. Putting it all together, you can create some pretty neat experiences, all with little to no code. From virtual basketball courts to virtual museums and much more. What amazing Chaarmi worlds will you create?